set to go? All right. We're running, right? All right, so a more formal introduction would say something like, over the years of working with this, and particularly with very capable leading executive ISTJ types, I learned by seeing them over and over again that they had a great idea or a great sense of what it was to be an ISTJ, but even like the paper upon which we presented, it was kind of flat idea. And in the process had very little awareness of their non-preferences except through their mates. And it came to me so clearly when I had a 2-star general who was really conversant in type at a private executive team building session with his staff say that he would not want a perceiving type on his staff because they can't make decisions. And it just came to me how linear that was, how unaware he was that every perceiving type has a judging function. And that's what led to the whole Hamburger thing as a quick way to illustrate how this all comes about. And so the weakness is we're going to try to illustrate it on a flat sheet of paper. The hope is that you will begin to see the dynamics of it, and no matter how fast I can do it, I'm always behind how quickly this happens in our waking and sleeping hours all of the time. Because part of this is what dreams are about and everything else, and that is about perception, and I'm taking liberty with Jung in reducing everything of this model to just 2 things, which is perception and judgment. All right, that's really what we want to focus on. We're going to put the attitudes in dotted lines because in one sense of the word, they only exist to talk about the functions. These are behaviors that are reflective of or akin to the functions. The top one, E and I, where you do your perceiving and judging, where you prefer to do your perceiving and judging. The bottom one is having done your perceiving and judging, which one of them do you prefer to use publicly more often than not? More often being the key word, never always, okay? So if your last letter is J, more often than not, your public persona is a manifestation of judgment, Public persona means your daily lifestyle, what we see from the morning when you're out there in the world, all right? And if your last letter is P, then your lifestyle, your public persona is a manifestation behaviorally of perception. Perception manifests itself literally or figuratively. And judgment manifests itself objectively or subjectively. Much more to say about that, but in this we want to really just focus on how they all interact with each other, all right? So having said that, it starts at noontime. Noontime's coming up and somebody stands up in the office and says, I'm going to go get a hamburger. No other Myers-Briggs letter can say that but the judging function. That is a judgment. That is, I am going to go get a hamburger. My mind's made up. Don't confuse me with anything else. All right? If you're going because you go every single time at this time and your body is like an automobile engine and you have to feed it with fuel, then quite possibly you're going because you're an objective decider. If you're going because it's an opportunity to see some folks, do a little networking, a little whatever, yummy, yummy, warm for the tummy, quite possibly you're a feeling decider. For the illustration that's irrelevant, this is the function you're in and you can't be anywhere else. The fact that you shared this judgment, your last letter might be J. The fact that you told the whole office what you're going to do, high probability you are an extrovert. But we don't know that. All I know is here's where you are. I'm going to go get a hamburger. Out the door, down the street, into the restaurant. The maitre d' says, here's a menu. I don't need a menu, I know what I want. Sir, in this restaurant we use menus. I told you I don't need one. Hey, in this restaurant you use it or you don't get service. See, he just moved from perception to judgment. You use it or you don't get service. Well, for the J, that's very clear. Give me the menu. Now, the only Myers-Briggs letter that can look at the menu and the menus of life is SN. I'm gathering data. If I'm an S, I prefer to look at the specifics of the menu and the specific words on it. If I prefer intuition, I'm redesigning the menu. If I'm an extrovert, I'm telling everybody in the restaurant what I'm doing. If I'm an introvert, I'm embarrassed that he's telling everybody in the restaurant what he's doing. But this is the function you're in and you can't be anywhere else. I don't know why I'm looking at this menu. I came to get a hamburger. I don't need it. But he told me I gotta look at this. I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna get the hamburger. This is a waste of time. I'm gonna get the hamburger. And now the last letter comes to play because the waiter-waitress appears. And the behavioral predictability is, and I only need to be correct 51% of the time for behavioral predictability. And the behavioral predictability is that if your last letter is J, you will say, bring me the hamburger. Done. Over and out. back to the office. When I stood up and said I'm going to go get a hamburger, somebody stood up and said, hey, can I go with you? High probability their last letter is P. Why? Because they're gathering data publicly. Can I go with you? If their last letter was J, it would have sounded like, wait a minute, I'm going with you. Very different form of communication, and we need to begin to listen to how people speak in the public domain. Cocktail parties everywhere you go, listen to them. Said this yesterday when we did this. It's so funny. When you're at the restaurant, ask we've all been trained now. Hello there, I'm Otto, and I'll be your waiter. It's just so fun. Well, hello, Otto, nice to meet you. Let me tell you my name. Ah! The waiter, I haven't been trained to deal with all this. Give me your order. But then you look at me and you say, well, what would you recommend? And if their last letter is P, they will dodge that as long as they can. Ooh, boy, that's tough. What do you like? I like everything. Ooh, it's getting tougher. Well, do you have anything you think you like tonight? Well, no, I don't know. What would you recommend? Well, gee, it's all good, And they will head like crazy. So your last letter is J, and you ask the waiter, what would you recommend? Get the beef. Really? I was kind of thinking of fish. Hey, you asked, didn't you? If you didn't want to know, don't ask. I'm telling you, get the beef. And you're suddenly in an argument. It's just so fun to play with it. And that's the point. So anyway, hey, can I go with you? Yes. All of those whose last letter is P and all the rest of us, remember, the only Myers-Briggs letter that ever can say yes or no is the judging letter. So as soon as you say yes or no, you're in this function. I don't care what your preferences are. If you say it out loud, you're extroverting it. If you say yes or no to yourself, you're introverting it. But this is the function you're in, and you can't be anywhere else. All right? Hey, can I go with you? Yes. Oh boy, we're going to go get a hamburger. Hey, was that sign there when we came in for work? Whoa, there goes some birds. Yeah, I'm going to get the hamburger. It's all right. I'm going to get the hamburger. I got that. I want a hamburger. I want a hamburger. Whoa, look at there's somebody over there. I've never seen them on this street. That's all right. I've got to get the hamburger. But let's go get the hamburger. Woo, a menu. Look at all the new things. Let's go get the hamburger. Wow, I've never seen this on any menu. I've never seen this on any menu. Look at all the stuff. I'm going to get the hamburger. Now the waiter waitress appears. I don't have to be right 51% of the time. And the behavior predictability is that if your last letter is P, you will say, have you got any specials? Which, by the way, tends to stress your J friend. I'm not going to bring you anymore. We're going to ask about that. You want the hamburger? Get the hamburger. I'm going to get the hamburger. I'm going to get the hamburger. Just want to know if they got any specials. Well, the waiter waitress, I'm glad you asked. We do have some specials. Here are the specials. Now, in the light of the special, the next one can really get you hurt, and in the light of the menu, and in the light of your desire for a hamburger, this is the one that can get physical harm. You say to the waiter, waitress, what would you recommend? I mean, at that point, the J could reach across the table and smack you. I'm never bringing you again. You wanted the hamburger, get the hamburger. You're wasting time. It's a good hamburger. We got to get back to work. I'm going to get the hamburger. I'm going to get the hamburger. You just want to know what they recommend. All right, now in the light of the recommendation, in the light of the special, in the light of all the things, and in the light of my desire for the hamburger, bring me the hamburger. For this conference. We brought Bozo all the way from the colonies to talk 2 minutes about him. We'll all be in big trouble. But thank you. And say if this works, I'd love to copy it because there is none anywhere in existence. So thank you. No, you're right. And obviously, you know I need an audience as responsive as this to help me do it. Because without you, the hamburger is flat and the menu isn't worth the time of day. So thanks again, folks. In whose hands are we now?
So what was that thought?
As the afternoon has unfolded, the pleasure was that the hamburger illustration was so well received. And in the excitement of doing it over, I forgot an important thing that I have added to it when I do it as a special presentation, and that is, if I were to tell you to have a good day, thinking through how much we move in all of our preferences, what I would mean is it is a good day when any of us get to spend 51% of our waking hours in our 4 preferences. That would be a good day. And that's particularly difficult for introverts and Ps, flexible types, to get 51% of their time in their waking hours. For the waking hours and their introversion
or in their P flexibility or what have you. We don't like them to do that.
Thank you, Otto.
Well,